工业革命与复制，在19世纪，机械化已经达到。
Research by Rosy, the Industrial Revolution and Copying Things. In the 19th century, machines reached a point that they created the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution was a change in European society when machines became more important. There were so many machines being used that they created a revolution in society. First, the machines were simple, but soon they became complex. They started out very basic machines like the spinning gin, which turned swine into spun wool. This machine was faster than the traditional spinning wheel. Soon, the textile and wool industry started to work on machine spools and bobbins, which made production faster. Soon, machines began to work together and grew larger. These machines were stored and operated in factories in the cities of industrialized countries. This was because cities were the centers of raw materials, often delivered to seaports or from the countryside where the raw material had been grown. Soon, these cities became crowded, gritty and dirty from the factories. Factories put out a lot of pollution and garbage that filled the streets and rivers like London's Thames River. Soon, disease spread from the pollution. The sky became clouded from smog, from the smokestacks of factories that used coal to power their machines. People from the countryside began to lose their jobs on farms as new farming equipment was begun to be used. New crop gathering machines saved time and labor and removed the reason for so many people to be employed on the land as once had been during feudal times. More machines on the land meant less people working there. These farming people went to the city to find jobs and were soon trapped into working in the dirty factories. People often did not have enough to eat and lived in bad conditions. Many people were homeless and suffered from the pollution. The new factories with machines were dangerous places to work. Many people were seriously injured while working in the factories with new machines. People were not used to working with machines and there was little training. There were no unions to protect people and people were paid a poor wage. If people were hurt or killed while working in the factories, there was no pay or compensation given to them or their families. Often factories had poor safety conditions and no fair exits or escapes. Many factories like flour mills and sawmills caught on fire or exploded, killing their workers. Machines were complex and poorly designed. Often, children worked in factories as they were small enough to crawl under machines to fix problems. Often, children were caught up in the machines and killed. It can be seen that the conditions of factory life were extremely bad in the 19th century. The goods factories produced were all the same. It was important that these goods were all the same so as to give the idea of equal quality in the production whenever it was bought. This was a new idea in society, which had been used to handmade items up until this point. Butter was hand-patted, eggs hand-gathered, cheese hand-churned, and milk hand-milked. Things had an individual feel to them. Things were not of equal size and were different from each other. With the beginning of factory-made goods, branding was possible. Branding was putting an identifying individual trademark on a good so it could be tied to a particular selling organization. By having a brand, people could trust the quality of the product from time to time, being sure that it will be the same good quality each time of buying. Factory goods were all the same and of equal quality. A brand could be put on these items so people could look for them in shops and ask for them. Also, the brand of a product could be advertised to spread knowledge of the product to the buying public. Examples of brands are the names of products like Vegemite spread, Kleenex tissues, and Velvet soap. Brands make special types of products easier to remember and find in shops. People can ask shopkeepers specifically for this brand and item, and the shopkeeper can specifically stock it in his shop. This was the beginnings of modern consumer capitalism. However, things that are branded are always the same. This is the point of branding. Branding means that all the products are the same quality and ingredients. A brand assures the buyer he or she is getting the same thing each time. This has special effects. Up until this time in the 19th century, people were used to handmade items. This meant that everything that was made was original. Each thing was as if it was made from nothing and had not been made before. Things were different from each other, and there was not a standard. This made things individual and unique. Everything was different from each other. The individuality of each single object on its own meant that everything gave off an individual aura or glow, according to Walter Benjamin. Benjamin was like a mystic or seer and spoke in magical terms. In this way, he spoke about a magical glow or aura around individual items that was a way of showing their authenticity. Authenticity is the realness of an individual handmade object. Benjamin believed that artists making handmade items put a part of themselves into the item they were making. What they put into it was a magical aura or glow of authenticity. By being made by an artist, Benjamin believed these handmade items were more real or more authentic than factory-made items. Why would factory-made items be less real than ones handmade by an artist? This is a Marxist argument about specialization. Before capitalism, artists made a whole handmade item. It was a piece of art, and he or she as artist put him or herself into the item with the loving care of crafting. And later capitalism, people were forced into factories where they worked on production lines. In a production line, each person in the line worked on only a very small piece of the item. In this way, no single person had any real ownership of the item produced at the end. This was because each of them only made a small piece of the whole. This left people with a feeling of emptiness. They no longer made whole things for themselves that they could take pride in. They no longer practiced customary arts or crafts.